Hi, I'm Michelle, and you're about to watch a message that was preached last week at Next Calvary Young Adults Ministry in Miramar, Florida. We hope you enjoy.
Hey, Next, how you guys doing? All right. Who brought the surfboards? I mean, seriously, you guys are committed. Like, what's happening out there is like the end of the world. It is crazy. About like at 6:30, I was like in my office and just kind of going over my message and all that, and like I just hear this like, at least when you work here, you get used to it, but like it was just so obvious this time around. You're sitting in your office and you hear, and you're like, what the heck is that? And I look outside and I see a cow flying through the air. Like it was intense. And it's nuts. But I commend you on being here. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. It's going to be awesome. We're going to continue in our series, The Waiting Room. And before we do that, I'm going to tell you a story about one of the craziest times in my life that I had to wait. Okay? As a human being, I don't think you can do anything crazier than wait for your first child. Okay? Listen, pregnancy is nuts. And I'm not even a girl. Okay? She's the one that did it. I'm just the one I'm like, whoops. Okay, whatever. So, just kidding. So, no, we're not. Yeah, we're not. But still, like, whoa, whoopsie. So, she was pregnant, 9 months, okay? 9 months of waiting is like the craziest thing that we do as humans because like you just don't know what is gonna happen. Every month she was kind of like a different person. There's different things happening. There's things happening hormonally and stuff. And sometimes I was afraid for my life. And he's like, I really want to eat Cuban food. I'm like, all right. I really want. I'm like, okay. I get your food. But when we were brand new parents, we're like, you know what? We are gonna prepare. Because most of the time people just go in and they don't know what they're gonna do, whatever. So we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna read every book. We're gonna read the blogs. We're going to do the best that I can, right, to be educated, the best that we can. So we did a bunch of research and reading and all this stuff, and then we took these things called natural birthing classes at the hospital. Yeah. And she's laughing because she knows where I'm about to go with this. So we took these classes, and it's all about preparing you for the day that it's just like, we're having a baby, okay, and you're not freaking out. So you're prepared, you're educated. When the doctors are around you, you know the terminology. So that way you're not freaking out, like, what does +1 mean? What does defacing mean? What does it, all that stuff? So we took the class. It was 9 weeks? It was super long. 8 weeks. 8 weeks, guys, of this ridiculous class, okay? So we drive after work and go to the class. And the class was it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And sometimes it was just like, dude, okay, because it was like just, we're going to talk about this today. And we're going to talk about, and the lady was very free-spirited, I would say. She's like, so today all we're going to do is sit and smell lavender because we want to relax your mind with the essential oils, and we just want to make sure you go to a different dimension and just, it's like, okay. Yeah, it was like Stargate. Just walk through. Oh, no pain. Anyway, so we're there, we're taking the class, but every time that we had to rush to get out of work, try to grab some dinner, and get to the class. So we would usually stop at Chick-fil-A. Yeah, so who's the Chick-fil-A lovers in the house? Christian chicken in the house, okay, right? So this one time we grabbed Chick-fil-A, right? And I grabbed it, and I was a little late. We were a little late, so I'm like, all right. We asked the teacher, can we eat inside the classroom? She's like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, all right, cool, sweetie, we got to eat quick, all right? So we're sitting down on our laps. I get my chicken tenders. She gets the chicken tenders, and then I bring out the sauces. Now, there's a little bit of a debate in today's society about what's the better sauce at Chick-fil-A. So, okay, get a picture of all the sauces, please. Great. So, raise your hand if you like. Bet no one better raise their hand. Garlic herb ranch. Anybody eat that? They're losing money. They should just stop making it. It makes no sense, right? Okay, I'm sure some barbecue lovers in the house. Really? What's wrong with you people? All right, the honey mustard people. Come on. Yeah, you guys are like a cult. Honey mustard for president. It's amazing. All right, zesty buffalo. Dang, man, all right. Got a little spice going, all right. And here comes the three. This is the heavy hitters right here. Heavy hitters, heavy hitters. I'll start with the newest one, the newbie. The sweet, spicy sriracha. Really? You're the only guy. All right. The heavy-duty contenders. Here we go. This is going to decide whether I'm your friend or not, by the way. You get chicken nuggets or you get chicken tenders. You go for Chick-fil-A sauce. Okay. Or you go for the Polynesian sauce. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. There were more people, but we were louder. That's right. You know, I'll take that to the grave. All right. Sorry, I get really passionate about food. So I grabbed the stuff. I grabbed the sauce, the only sauce that exists, by the way. Actually, you know what we do? We actually mix both. You should try it. Get Chick-fil-A, Polynesian, dip them in both. It's like a hybrid. Anyway. So we're there, we're eating, and I'm stuffing my face. I mean, I'm talking about I am eating like if I haven't eaten in like 3 weeks, just because the class is starting and whatever. So I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then in the middle of all that, I spill all of the Polynesian sauce all over myself. Literally all over myself, right? And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, oh, yeah. And we're trying to clean it up. And like the lady was like, listen, don't make a mess. I'm like, you know, like it was all over me. So I'm cleaning it up, whatever, and like we eat, whatever, and I'm just freaking out. I throw it away, and like the class is starting. And of course, out of all the classes, that class was about meditating and finding your zen and whatever, that stuff, whatever. And it was all about breathing. So we sit down, there's different, couples that are pregnant or whatever, and we're sitting together. I'm sitting next to Evelyn, and all the exercises we're taking these huge, deep breaths, right? Like, right, over and over again. Evelyn and I are in the corner dying. We are like cracking up because you take a breath and all you smell are my pants full of Polynesian sauce. And we're just like, oh my God. She's like, just focus. You're not there yet. You got to get to the other dimension. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the Chick-fil-A Polynesian pants dimension, okay? I got to get home and change these pants. And we were just cracking up. It was a complete disaster, guys. We were supposed to be learning about getting like calm and this for her pain and all that stuff. And all we were doing is cracking up because I had made a complete mess of myself, right? So here's the question. Have you ever had to sit and wait in your own mess? Like maybe it wasn't Polynesian sauce on your lap, but maybe you did something and you're like, oh, I kind of jumped the gun. I was in a rush and now this situation occurred. And now I've got to kind of wait in it. Because guess what? The class was like 2 hours, and I wasn't going anywhere. I was stuck. And I had to wait there with all the Polynesian sauce. And the lady was just looking at me like, what the heck's wrong with this guy? Like, that's going to be the father of your child? I'm like, oh, yeah, well, sorry about that, right? Yeah, sorry. Polynesian still rocks. Chick-fil-A people? Yeah, whatever. Chick-fil-A sauce. But think about it. Something that you created. You weren't intentional about it, and it just maybe you made a mistake and whatnot, and now you're stuck waiting in this situation that you didn't intend on waiting on in the first place. For some of you, you were trying to, hook up your friend with that cute girl that's your friend, right? That happens all the time. You're like, man, I got this girl. She's going to be awesome for you, and she ends up being a complete psychopath and, like, steals all his money and his car, and then runs away into the sunset eating Chick-fil-A sauce, right? That didn't work out the way you planned it, right? Or maybe for you, you were trying to watch what you were eating. You're on that keto diet, right? It's all about keto right now. Look at that, keto works. It's the same, right? You're trying to watch what you're eating, but McDonald's started selling those fresh Angus burgers. Oh, snap. Have you tried those things? Those things are good. This table over here, they're with me. They're with me, right? But you try a diet. You try whatever. It doesn't work out. Oh, man. It's going to be one of those nights. Fresh Angus burgers. I haven't tried it, but it looked delicious. Anyway, and you're trying to do the best that you can. But for some reason, things just don't work out. And here's where it gets serious. You try to wait for God, but it was just easier to give in, right? Ouch. Right? We get overwhelmed with our own mess, and we're trying to find the fastest way out. I was trying to find the fastest way out of that classroom because I smelled so bad, And a lot of times, the situations that we're in life, we're trying to figure out how to get out of these situations as fast as we possibly can. But my question to you next is this: what if God is calling you to stay right in that mess? right? And just sit in there and smell like Polynesian sauce for the rest of your life. I would hate that. No, please, right? Because a lot of times we think getting out as fast as we can, moving as fast as we can is the solution. But what if God is telling you that you need to stop for a second and wait? We've been talking about the waiting room, right? A lot of times we jump the gun. We think that it's just like, okay, well, you know what? I made this decision, and it is what it is, and I don't have time to wait, so I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to have faith, is what we say. No, you're just impatient. Faith is one thing. Oh, yeah, taking a step, but not consulting with God, the creator of the universe, before you make a decision and then, have faith. That's probably a better situation than just going, you know what? I can't wait for God. I'm just going to go. I'm going to do my thing. And that's the problem with our age group. And I consider myself part of your age group. I know I'm old, but I'm close. I'm a little old, but not that old. Here's a study that Forbes did about millennials that was kind of interesting. 86% of millennials believe that they are going through some form of quarter-life crisis. Life's rough, you know what I'm saying? The vast majority of 20-something individuals believe that they are not successfully living the life that they were called to live. 86%, right? But not us in here. We're the exception, right? For sure. And why is it? Because of a thing that they're calling ambition addiction. It's pretty crazy. An addiction ambition addiction is what it looks like when you are getting pressured to be the best possible student you can be in school, because the world will fall apart if you do not pass that final. I mean, it will, right? Your parents will never look at you again if you don't study to be the thing that they told you should have been studying from the beginning. You got to be a doctor. You got to be a lawyer. You got to be right? I know, every week I call you out, but I'm sorry. It's okay. Polynesian for life. All right, so, Wakanda. So, but think about it. That pressure is real. Some of us are in school or out of school, whatever, but you remember that kind of pressure. Maybe you didn't have that type of pressure, but you still had this kind of pressure about, I've got to be the best student. And what's funny about millennials is that we are the most educated generation that's ever existed. Do you feel smart? Because that made me feel real smart. I was like, oh, snap. Okay, I'm smart. Because we take things to the complete extreme, right? We're ambitious, and we're addicted to it. So we become students, but not only students, we're going to be students, ravenous students, and we're going to tear apart the study, and we're going to go crazy, and we're going to be in every club and do everything that we can possibly do because we're going to be the best. And then all of a sudden, most people feel like, 86% feel like they're going to break down because they're going too fast. Proverbs 27 says this: just as death and destruction are never satisfied, so human desire is never satisfied. We're never going to look good enough. We take 7,000 selfies to post one of them. I don't know about you, but all my selfies look really bad. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. I could the angle. No, you got to go from the top, because at the top, you could do the thing, and right? You got to put the hair over here. You got to do this thing. No, it doesn't. It's the addiction of ambition. You got to look a certain way. You got to be wearing the latest fashion thing, right? Glasses that don't have prescription, because that's what you do, right? And I like the way that looks. Don't get me wrong. And I know many people who wear those glasses. There's nothing wrong with the glasses. But you see where I'm getting at? You see what's going on with our generation? We are kind of addicted to being on top of the latest, greatest, next thing, and before you know it, we've been doing this little dance for so long. When we finally have a minute to stop and think about life in general, what am I doing? Where am I going? And I thought I was on top of everything, but I'm actually falling way, way further behind in life. But I look really cool, though. So that's cool, right? So the pace of life, you've got to slow it down. God is calling us to be relaxed with our pace. But see, we're moving too fast, so sometimes he can't get our attention. Our minds go straight to, why are they doing so good? And why am I not so? Why do they look so good? How come they have the new Boost Adidas and I don't have those Boost Adidas yet? Because those are really cool. And they got the black and gold ones now and the black and black ones. And we have 35 sneakers that are all the same thing for every single outfit that we have in our closet. It's cool. But that happened also when I was back in the day when you had the old Jordans that were red and you wore the red shirt with the red thing and the red do-rag and Anyway, yeah, well, don't hate on the do-rag. I never wore one. So we're obsessed about that next thing. We need that next thing. We need that next thing. What you need to do is wait on the Lord. Psalm 27 says this, wait for the Lord, be strong and let your heart take courage. Yes, wait for the Lord. We get overwhelmed and we end up sitting in a birthing class smelling like Polynesian sauce because I was in a rush. And then we're wondering, how did we get in this mess in the first place? And that's what life sometimes looks like. But here's the thing, trouble is always going to follow you when you try to help God do his job instead of patiently waiting for God to do his job. I'm going to say that all over again so you can tattoo it on your back if you want. That could be a bumper sticker. Trouble is always going to follow you when you try to help God do his job instead of patiently waiting for God to do his job. Can you understand this, that nothing takes God by surprise? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're going through that. It must be so hard, right? No, he already knew. He sees what's going on. He knows the desires of your heart. He knows what you're trying to do. But the problem is when we make the decisions and we don't think about it and we just go and we're going. We're becoming like God, like Adam and Eve, right? And just making decisions on our own. And then he's wondering, like, what in the world are you doing? My word has all these promises in the Bible for you, specifically, uniquely, for each and every single one of us. We must look crazy to him, like they're running around in circles. Like what? Hey, just stop for 1 second. Give me. And he loves us enough to just go, all right, we'll just keep going. One day you're going to hit a wall, and you're going to wonder, okay, God, I'm sorry. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. So today I want to do 3 things. I want to show you 3 ways that we could kind of evaluate our lives so that we don't end up being another statistic, those 86% or whatever, right? There's a way that we don't have to be a statistic, and that's using what I call the 3 C's, right? The 3 C's are this. Number 1, curiosity. One of the biggest plagues that our world has is that people are no longer as curious as they used to be. When I was a kid, I was curious about everything. When you were a kid, you were curious about everything. You know how I know? Because I have 2 little maniacs, one that's 4 years old and one that's 1 year old. And you know what they are? Completely curious about everything. They stick their finger in every socket and everything. They want to grab a knife and go, oh, look at this. This is cool. They want to go crazy because they have no idea what anything is. Everything's still new to them. Where does the transition of that beautiful curiosity disappear when it comes to us? Because now it's like, oh, we know. Nothing really phases us. We're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, I saw that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's cool. Cool. Yeah, all right, we got that. I got it. Nothing is like, I wonder what would happen if right now I went outside, I got my brother's jet ski, and I started going around in the parking lot with the jet ski. Would I be able to float or not? Is that a good idea, a bad idea? You know what I mean? Like, no one thinks about crazy ideas like that. For obvious reason, you probably get hurt. But Psalm 119 says this, I considered my ways and turned my feet to your testimony. So we need to be curious about the decisions that we make that are affecting your life every single day. We need to be curious about the pace of life that we're living. Most of us don't even think about it. We're just going. We're doing. We got to go to school. We got to do this and the work, and this is my deadline. Okay, cool. I got to get an oil change, blah, blah, and you're just going. But you're not curious. There's some real interesting questions that you can answer, like, or you could ask, like, why don't I like my job? Why don't I feel fulfilled? How come it feels like I'm walking around with a boulder on myself? What's this pressure all about? Curious. These are curious questions. One of the first jobs I ever had, I worked at a warehouse in Hialeah. That's right. I came out of high school, and some guys told me, hey, these guys are hiring or whatever. I don't know if you remember, like back in the day, there was these little magazines that would go to your house with all this random junk, like little, if it was Christmas, it was like snowman, like, I don't know, refrigerator handle covers and little cups and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Your grandma probably knows all about them. Well, I worked for one of those companies, and my job, right out of high school, was quality inspector manager. Sounds pretty legit, right? Yeah. I was making a whopping $6.50 an hour. That was awesome back then. My job was this. go through this warehouse, no AC, a bunch of propane tank like forklifts, and a bunch of old ladies that weren't strong enough to pick up boxes. My job was to pick up the box. So, George, can you help me? I can't pick up this box. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I pick it up, it weighs like 4 pounds. I'm like, sure. And I'm over here, oh George, I need your, oh George, go to the other, George, hey George, all day, George. Like seriously, picking up boxes. And then listen, I mean, I know I'm pretty strong and all that, but it was a bad situation. Sometimes I would have to like drag, you know, like who hired this guy, you know? But I remember sitting there thinking like, this is horrible. This is the worst job on the planet. I'm just basically a butler for like these ladies that are lazy, that don't want to pick up some boxes. I don't even weigh that much, you know? So I'm like, there's got to be a reason. So what did I do? I was curious. I'm like, is there another thing out there for me? So what did I do? I went to a music store because I like music. I'm like, hey, here's my application. I want to work here. Okay, well, we're going to review it, and then we'll give you a call. Okay, great. Thanks. I left. Came back the next day. Hey, how are you? Did you review my application? And like, you gave it to us yesterday. I know. I just want to follow up. Just make sure. I mean, I really want to work here. All right. Well, we're gonna talk with the department managers and all that. Oh, Greg? Yeah, he already knows me. Because my mom used to drop me off here, and I would spend the whole day here, and I'm a total music geek. So yeah, when can I start working? Like, what? All right. Well, just I need to talk to the general manager. All right, no problem. I totally understand. Next day, show up. Hey, how are you? Did you talk to the general manager? And they're like, dude. Like, what is up? I'm like, I just really want to work here. He's like, okay, but like, this is not the way it works. I'm like, listen, I'll do whatever you want. I can start on Monday. He's like, just give me a second. I got to figure out, like, I got to know if you know anything about drums. I'm like, yeah, what do you want to know? Birch, bobinga, maple? What do you want? Warmth? You want for the studio? You want projection? 6-ply, 7-ply? And he's like, just come on Monday. just come on Monday. You know? Got my job, left that crazy thing. Why? Because I was curious. Could there be another job out there? Could there be another position? Could there be another, is this really the right guy? Is this really the right girl? Are we curious enough to ask the questions? Because, you know, sometimes we feel like we've got everything under control and we never question any decision that we make. And that's a dangerous place to be, right? The second C is this, courage. Once you've got curious about it and you've figured out the question, why is this? Why do I feel that? Why this? Or who's that? Or what should I do? Is there something else that I can do? Blah, blah, blah. What's God's will? All that stuff. Now you got to have the courage to actually answer those questions honestly and humbly. And that's a scary thing. In Romans 12, it says this, because of the privilege and authority God has given me, I give each of you this warning. Don't think you are better than you really are, and be honest in your evaluation of yourself, measuring yourselves by the faith God has given us. When you answer those curiosity questions about the most important decisions in your life, you may find out that if you answer it honestly, it's going to be a little scary. Because you're going to be like, well, why don't I feel fulfilled in my life anymore? Well, if I'm going to be honest with myself, I haven't really been reading the Bible, haven't been coming to church regularly, haven't really paid attention to God at all. Because I've been so overwhelmed with everything else that I haven't had the time. And then you find the real answer and you go, man, God, I'm so sorry. What do I do, right? But here's what happens if you don't answer that question. Why don't I feel fulfilled? Here's the other side of it. Why don't I feel fulfilled? I don't feel fulfilled because, I just don't have the right people around me. I'm not there yet. It's going to take some time. I got to get just that one more job, get that gig. I got to finish that one more class, and then I'll be where I want to be. Who are you fooling? You can't do any of that stuff. You can't reach your goals efficiently if you're not relying on God from the get-go. So that's what happens. If you answer those questions untruthfully, then you're not going to get the answers that you really want. When you answer it truthfully and you face-to-face with what it really is, it does something to us, right? But you see, the third C is my favorite one, which is compassion. A lot of times, if you feel like me, when I spilled all that stuff and whatever, or like maybe when you failed or when you thought that you really messed it up big time, we get really hard on ourselves, like hardcore. You're your absolute worst critic. Do you know who feels the most unqualified on the planet when it comes to like this place? Me. Every Sunday I have to lead worship for the most part, or come here next and teach and all that. And you know what George feels like right before he has to do that? Like I am the absolute most unqualified person to do it. Why? Because I am extremely hard on myself for no reason, right? That's why I'll joke around about being skinny and my muscles and my hair and my teeth and blah, 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 and whatever. But that came from a really dark time in my life where I believed all that stuff, and I believed that nobody cared about me. Nobody wanted to even take a second look at me. Why I think Evelyn is under a curse. She can't really see who she's married to, you know? It's a joke now because I could joke about it. But it came from years of not having compassion on myself. You see, Colossians 3:12 says this, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. And it took a while to learn that, and I'm still learning that. That's one of my daily struggles, right? But back to the story of Evelyn giving birth, or being pregnant. This is where I had the biggest kind of like aha moment with God, right? Not only is it crazy to wait for a kid for 9 months, but it's really crazy to bring a kid into this world, period. Because you start thinking about all types of stuff. You wonder if I'm going to be a good dad. You start thinking about all this stuff. And I remember we were so prepared. And when she said, all right, it's time, let's go. I'm like, all right, we go to the hospital, and I've got the bag packed, and we have all this stuff, and she's doing her thing. She's sitting down, and she's trying to do the best that she can with this pain, and I can't do anything. I feel worthless. It was like, I'm just like, why am I even here? You know, it's like, this is like ridiculous. She's in so much pain, and I can't do anything to help her. And I remember like asking her, like, you know, like, how are you doing with the pain? Because we've got a long night ahead of us, you know. And she's like, no, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna keep pushing. We're trying to do it naturally, all that stuff, you know. And she's pushing, and she's trying, and she's holding on. It's the pain and the thing, and the contractions come and they go, and they come and they go. And like, by about 2 or 3 hours later, she's like, I am done. Done. It was like 3 in the morning. I don't remember what time it was. And she's like, I can't do this. I'm done. If this is what it's going to be like for the next 6, 7, 12 hours, I'm like, so we have to get this thing called an epidural, which is like this giant needle that goes into your back and numbs. It's just crazy. I'm like, listen, whatever, I'm here, whatever you decide, let's do this. We're here together, let's do it. And she's like, I know, but I know we wanted to do this. I'm like, I know we had our plans. But you know what? Let's just get through this. And she said, all right, call the nurse. Let's do it. I'm like, okay. I call the nurse. Hey, she wants an epidural. The nurse comes in with all the stuff. And we read up about all this, so we already know the procedure and all that stuff. And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, let's go. Let's do this. Let's get it done. And then they look at me and they're like, Dad, you have to leave. I'm like, you must be out of your mind. I'm not going anywhere crazy. My wife is in so much, like, no, you have to leave. You can't be in here for this procedure because of liability and blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Go to the waiting room. I'm like, but it's like, sir, you have to leave. So I'm freaking out because no one told me in all of our research that I couldn't be there for this. And now I'm leaving Evelyn in the hands of who knows what, in one of the craziest moments of her life. I walk out the door, and I literally sit right next. Did I break the mic? Oh, there it is. I sit right next to the door in the hallway. All the nurses are passing by me, and to me it felt like 10 seconds, but I know it was a little longer. But the nurse shows up and she's like, "Sir, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, my wife." She's like, "No, well, we know about your wife. She's having an epidural, but you can't wait here. Go to the waiting room." I'm like, you don't understand. He's like, I do understand. I get it. It's your first child. She's going to be okay. It's going to take like 20 minutes. Just go to the waiting room. Get up. I go to the waiting room. There's nobody there. It's just me. I sit down and I completely lose it. Lose it. I don't know what is going to happen. I'm freaking out. 10 minutes pass by, 15 minutes pass by. I'm looking at every second that passes by. 20 minutes pass by, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and they still haven't come. And then all of a sudden, George, you can come and see her. And I'm like, I walk in, I run in, and I see Evelyn under all these blankets, and she's like, she can't stop shaking, you know? It's crazy stuff. I look at her, and I just, I mean, it was just like, you know, two hoses, you know? Because I don't know, like, anyway, so I get there, and I look at her, she's under all these blankets, and all I see is her head, you know? And I'm like, hey, and she's like, and she's like, why are you crying? You know? And I'm like, because of lack of compassion. Because I was like, I failed you. You're going through the craziest thing you've ever gone through, and I had to leave and be in a waiting room. You know? And I was so hard on myself. I was like, no, this is my fault. This is messed up. This wouldn't have happened if I would have been a better coach and blah, blah. I'm thinking of all this stuff. And then I'm totally like not thinking about the fact that she's no longer in pain. And that about 7-8 hours later, I'm holding my baby girl in my arms. And sometimes, guys, okay, you want to be in the action. You want to be right there because you should be. You should see your life unfolding before your eyes. You want to be a part of the biggest decisions of your life, the biggest moments of her life. I want to be a part of all of it. Sometimes you just have to go to the waiting room. Sometimes you need to go over there, and instead of what I could have been doing is praying to God, worshiping God, knowing that He's going to be all right. You're going to take care of me, God. I know you're going to be all right. It's going to be okay. All I was doing was counting every single second that I was in the waiting room because I just couldn't wait any longer. I needed to get back to my wife. And God is trying to tell you guys right now that sometimes the waiting room is probably one of the most healthiest places that you can be in when it comes to your life. Some of you here are completely overwhelmed with what's going on in your life. But you have to do a really good job of faking it and running as fast as you can. And my friends, God is telling you, stop, slow down, go to the waiting room. If you slow down and read your word, pray, you'll be reminded that you are more than conquerors. That situation, that mountain, that boulder that's in front of you, if you have enough faith, can be thrown into the middle of the sea. Right. But if you don't stop and you'll go to the waiting room, go to your secret place with your Father, your Heavenly Father, He can never speak that into your life. So my challenge to you, don't get so caught up with the day-to-day that you miss on the bigger situation, which is what God is trying to do in the smallest increment of your life. Go to the waiting room and ask for Him. And be like, God, what do you want? What area of my life do you want me to slow down in? I'm willing to do it as long as you meet me there. But that only happens in that waiting room. Let's pray. Father, I thank you so much, God, that you put us in these crazy situations sometimes. And for us, the solution is to just get out of them as fast as you can. But Lord, you're calling us sometimes to the waiting room to slow down and understand what you're trying to do in this season in our lives, God. There are some people who are here right now who need a breakthrough. They need a miracle, God. God, they need encouragement. They need to remember these 3 C's, and more importantly, they need to remember that last one, that compassion, Lord. They've been so hard on themselves, trying to be the perfect student, the perfect son, the perfect boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. God, letting all these minute little things maybe get in the way, getting them angry, whatnot, grabbing that, and they're running as fast as they can. And 86% of us feel like we're in some type of crisis, God. It's because we're not slowing down, Lord. So God, teach us to wait. Teach us what godly waiting looks like. Teach us to search for you in those moments. Teach us to not hurry so much through life. Life is a vapor, God, your word says. I can snap my fingers and it's over. That's it. Before you know it, what were we in such a rush for, God? We missed out on some of the most amazing moments that you were trying to prepare for us, but we couldn't see it because we were always 2 steps ahead of you, God. Teach us to be right in step with you, God. Lord, give us the power, the strength to be able to see, to be curious about the decisions that we're making in our lives, God. The pace that we're living our life in, God. And God, help us to see you every single day in it, God. We love you. We pray all this in Jesus' name. And everyone says, amen.
Thanks for watching. For more information, please visit our website, nextyoungadults.com, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Calvary Next for more updates on what's happening here at Next.